Hey everybody, welcome to IPL 3. We are here with the League of Legends tournament. I am Freak. I'm joined here with Rivington III.
How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing fantastic. An amazing event here at Ballet's Casino and Resort. We have a lot of awesome StarCraft games that have already gone on through the past 3 days. I guess this would be the third itself that we've had going. So just amazing matches there. And now to debut the League of Legends tournament here for IPL 3.
Yeah, so we are actually into pretty much the second series. We have Counterlogic Gaming and Goose. Right now, actually, we have Epic Gamer playing against, I had it at the tip of my tongue.
V8.
Yeah, against V8, right. Epic is up 1-0 on V8 right now. Actually, they've chosen almost the exact same lineup between the two games. And we'll be kind of getting over into how the other matches have been going across the day. But we do have CLG and Goose here today, so I'm going to tell them it's go time.
Indeed.
I almost said goo time.
Yep.
Which should work for Goose.
Time.
Yeah, it's Goose time. And we are actually into Champion Select indeed. So for what's going on here, the draft format real quick, it's 3 bans per side, all 10 picks of course. CLG is getting first ban and first pick, and Goose is going to be blue team. So for what that's worth, when you see us get into the game, that's that whole spiel. Now, for those of you who aren't League of Legends fans or are new League of Legends players and want kind of the rundown of the gameplay.
You're about to be.
You're about to be informed. Yeah, you're about to know what's going on. So League of Legends, we're playing on Summoner's Rift. It's a 5 versus 5 map, so both teams are going to run 5 players. Each player picks a champion. A champion, you're going to, if you see on the screen here, they can pick one of multiple champions to play, and you're going to see the icons, and I'll kind of scroll through. For example, Lisa and the Blind Monk over here, Leona the Radiant Dawn. There's a lot of champions you can play, and they all have different play styles and roles on a team. And you actually see within these teams, these players, I'm a support player, or I'm a ranged AD carry, or I'm a jungler, and you have all these different roles and types of champions to play, assassins and mages and whatnot. And the goal of the game is to fight the other team. It's 5 versus 5, and pick a champion, and you actually fight the enemy champions. You try to kill them and make them respawn. You kill these minions across the map, and you start destroying the enemy base. The entire goal of the game is to actually destroy the enemy nexus. It's the heart of their base. It's a big structure right there. When you blow that up, the game ends and you win. And along the way, you have to kill minions and turrets and enemy champions to get yourself to that point. There's a couple other things added on. You level up over time. Your champion will gain skills and items and gold, and you'll power up over the course of the game. So you start out kind of weak. You don't really get to kill bases at the very beginning. It's a lot of team-based combat, and as you get more and more powerful, you get to the point where you can kind of like 3-shot enemy champions. You can kind of clear entire minion waves. You kill turrets really quickly. And there's more and more resources on top of that. There are neutral monsters you want to kill. Dragon and Bear and Nash are 2 of the big ones. Where you kill them, your entire team gets a nice buff. It really helps you out. So you have a lot of resources to fight over, a lot of things to sort of do. And right now we are in Champion Select. Part of the game, part of the pregame, is you actually take turns picking who you want to play. You can see in the bottom right and the bottom left corner, Morgana, Lee Sin, Kog'Maw, Cassiopeia, Zillion, Caitlyn. These are banned champions. It starts out with bans. Both teams say, I don't want to fight against this champion. We're going to kick them out of the pool of available choices. We're going to take someone else. So you can see right now, CLG has picked up Galio. The first pick, Galio, is a big tanky mage-type guy. It's a big gargoyle. His ultimate, all champions have an ultimate at level 6. They gain the ability to cast an extremely powerful spell every couple of minutes. This is an area of effect taunt. He casts it, he channels for a little while, and all the enemies around him are forced to attack him for 2 seconds. At the end of that timer, he breaks out, everyone takes a bunch of damage, and it's sort of a way to initiate a fight to really, draw attention away from maybe the squishier targets. You can build up durability or damage or a mix of both, and Galio's a really tanky kind of guy, and he really wants to draw fire for his team.
Right, and the thing that actually is very big in this is these players know each other. They come into this game knowing certain mains for other characters, knowing they kind of can secondary this one, but I'd rather ban the main out. And as Freak was saying, that's why they ban, and that's why the picks go back and forth. We can see that the right team here has chosen a jungler as the first one. That's going to be Goose picking that up. So we're going to see how they fare with that. As Freak said, they picked up a tank on CLG side, so we'll have to see now, seeing they have a lot of AD, that's attack damage from both Vayne and from Nocturne. So there's no AP, there's no mage, so to speak, on that team. So we'll have to see what CLG comes to pick out now.
Yeah, and you're going to see sort of the picks go back and forth. So right now, CLG has Udyr as a potential choice. They've sort of clicked that. They've not locked it in just yet. And there's Janna. And Janna's one of the support champions in the game. And that's going to be handed over to Elements, who's a support player for the CLG lineup. And Janna's really cool. She does a lot of, she's actually kind of a wind mage type. She has a lot of sort of knockback movement speed effects. Her ultimate Monsoon, she casts it and immediately all enemies around her are popped backwards. So between Janna casting Monsoon or Galio's ultimate Idol of Durand. Basically, when the enemy team comes in, Galio can all taunt them on top of himself and sort of lock them up and make them die. And when that's done, Janna can choose just to pop her ult, pop Monsoon, and they're all pushed back. And so you can kind of de-initiate the enemy team. If they jump in there, you're like, no, you go away now. We're going to deal with
a ton
you later.
Of damage.
Yeah, and you can kind of go back and forth. So CLG right now has a lot of control available to them. A couple other Janna's abilities. Zephyr is just a big single target slow, lasts quite a while. You can use that to pick off enemy targets. And you can see more of the choices coming in here from Goose. They have Sona, that's their support pick. Singed is typically solos the top lane. He's a big tanky fighter. He's akin to Galio, where he sort of wants to get in there and fight. He's really tanky, but he's actually much more about positional sort of gameplay. His best ability is probably his fling, and he runs at you, grabs you, tosses you over his shoulder, and then you're placed behind him and probably in the middle of the enemy team and probably going to die.
It's really a big initiation.
Yeah. He's really good at just jumping in there and making things happen. You see CLG is going to pick their last two picks right here. So Galio, Janna, Udyr. They need to pick a ranged AD champion typically. So mandatory Cloud on Vayne right there is she's a physical damage ranged dealer. They typically scale the hardest end of the game, so you kind of like keep beasting throughout the game and they become really, really, really powerful. Right now it looks like it might be Ashe the pickup here. Ashe, another ranged DPS champion. Very, very high on control. Every single person on this team has some kind of crowd control. Ashe's signature ability, her ultimate, Enchanted Crystal Arrow with a long range stun. And here's Kennen picked up. Kennen is their mage choice for this game. Probably going to be solo mid. And he's actually another long range champion. And he throws out these thundering shurikens. Has a lot of he's kind of a lightning based mage for what that's worth. And he's really, really quick, very long range, and he kind of darts around a lot. And we're now going to be here to the 10th pick for Goose. We're going to see what they're going to grab here. And they're going to get their 10th pick underway pretty soon.
And yeah, they are going to see something of a mage type here. And yes, there it is, Karthus. So it is going to be a Kennen versus Karthus in middle. And as Freak was saying before, you'll see the mages go middle. They scale a little bit harder off of their levels alone. They'll get a little bit more power just from leveling that skill up. So the ADs go bottom with the support, so they can just farm it out, give that support to give them some help, and then they can just get their items, which is how they really start to scale harder.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things on Summoner's Rift is it's a 5 versus 5 map, but it's divided into 3 major lanes. The lanes mean that the entrance into the enemy base, it goes through one of 3 ways. They're going through the top of the map, through the middle, through the bottom. And with that in mind, you have these minion waves that constantly spawn. These minions will come by and help your team push to the enemy base. And you sort of because the minions are worth gold, there's a lot of value in fighting with minions because they'll take damage for you or they'll deal damage for you, all kinds of cool things. You'll sort of divide your team across these lanes and use them as resources. And typically what we were talking about here is there's that solo mid champion, the solo top, the support plus AD carry bottom. That's sort of the lane assignments that seem most safe for these roles. We've got a mage, in mid lane. Mid lane's pretty short, so if you get caught, you can retreat really quickly and get out of the way and get back to your turret, back to safety, because mages are pretty frail early on. They're definitely not the most durable, especially champions like Karthus, who have no sort of natural escape mechanisms. If you catch Karthus, Karthus can die really, really fast. Whereas, bottom lane, it's a little bit longer, it's a little bit less safe. That's why you pair up a support champion with these late game carries, where, Ashe, again, no escapes at all, very easily caught. But if you've got a Janna, in your team, Janna will bubble you, will toss out some tornadoes and really help you stay alive and get you out of those battles. And that's sort of the synergies these guys are using. They're sort of playing as a team, getting themselves into these situations.
Right. So we've discussed it. There's that single top, a single mid, and 2 on the bottom, so that leaves 1 left. And on each side of the map, there's going to be what's called the jungle. And one jungler always has his own place in that jungle. He is going to be able to start wherever he wants. Usually they'll start there are 1 of 2 buffs in the jungle. They start at the blue one. That will allow them to get more reduced cooldowns, as well as a little bit of mana regeneration or energy if you're Lee Sin in the jungle, a very good jungler. And then they can move around to their camps, choosing to come in and out of the jungle whenever they want, and they can really assist the team. If mid's kind of losing their lane, or they really want to put a lot of pressure on, they send the jungler mid. If you need a little bit of help bottom, you can help with things like Dragon, and that's a little bit more we'll get to while we're in the game. We can tell you about the quest with the visuals, and those really help. There's a lot of based on gold in this game. Gold per 5 items. You'll see that happening a lot. go ahead and just pop out.
Yep. So yeah, the players are going to hop in to the game. They're getting their correct side choices in. They're kind of drafting in one of the games, but they're actually now that they actually know which champions they're going to use, they're actually swapping into a new game, making sure their side choices are correct, and then they're going to pop on through. And like we've got 7 of the 10 players in right now. Got about 30 seconds till they're going to kick that one out. And then we're going to be good to go. So, as far as lineups are concerned, we talked a little bit. The Janna Ashe bottom lane. There's the Kennen in mid. There's a lot of interesting choices here. Realistically, what we're going to be most concerned about is how well can one of the teams initiate. One of the biggest concerns in the game is, you've got a lot of defensive structures. You've got the ability to sort of sit in your base and be pretty defensive. And so it's how well can the enemy team sort of pull you out of that situation of this sort of defensive, good position. Team Goose, of course, very strong with that flying V. And they're really going to, want their good positioning. They're really going to want to be sure that they're in good shape. You're in the wrong game. It looks like we have 2 CLG in that game, and then they're going to hop on through real quick. So, yes, people are getting into the right game. We got 2 more CLG members waiting on them. They're going to kick on in, then we're good to go. But yeah, positioning is really, really important in League of Legends because you have these tanky guys up front. You as your team want them to take the damage because they're really resistant to it. You build them up with their abilities, health, armor, magic resist, things like that. You want them to not die, and their goal is to jump in there and initiate the fight. Maybe pull someone out of position. Again, with champions like Galio who can taunt everyone in, you can pull those champions toward you and pull them into that fight and make them be available. And similarly, champions like Singe can run in, put that fling off on someone like Vayne, and suddenly she's now available to get hit. Even when she positioned herself far back, she's been now displaced and positioned into an advantageous spot. And that's what Goose is going to really rely on, is that Singed initiation. He's really their big initiator. They've got a couple of other guys who can dive in there as well. They've got that Nocturne, his ultimate. It's going to allow him to dive right in on an enemy champion. Maybe they can kind of, grab kills there. So that's kind of what they're going to hope for. And realistically, again, champions like Ashe, she's going to be hard-pressed to get away from those. She has no innate escape tools. So if Goose does a really good job jumping in on Ashe, she's going to completely just rely on Janna to keep her safe. That's kind of the only ability they have to keep her alive, because she's frail and she's going to be in the back lines in the hope that she can stay there. And that's going to be the really big issue there. So we're going to see if Goose can make that work, or if the big, sort of the bouncer lineup, because they've got that Janna ultimate, they've got the Galio taunt, they've got Kennen in there with his ultimate slicing Maelstrom, can kind of stun everyone on the enemy team. If they have enough interference, it'll be okay. If they don't have enough, if they don't get farmed enough, if Singe gets really beefy, they can displace Ashe and she's going to drop down. And that's going to be really kind of a cornerstone of those fights.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, for V8 to come in on this one. Like you said, the Galio, the Kennen, and those are all ults where you said initiation is a huge thing. You don't have to press yourself to get into the fight. They have quite a big range, so you can initiate that fight, not even being in it, and then start to pick off those people that were caught in the outer edge of it. So they have a lot of room to play with those ultis too. Yeah,
and they do have kind of a poke composition as well. Their lineup is Galio's long ranged, Kennen's long ranged, Ashe is long ranged. Janna even has some range to her too. She's going to be a little bit more defensive here. And then, apparently they're still waiting on Elements and Big Fat LP to get into the game. They seem to not understand what the join game button does, but they're gonna be getting in here pretty shortly. And yeah, we got a little bit of downtime to fill. You want to talk about the Epic versus V8 game briefly?
Yeah, Epic coming out really strong. I believe it was Westrice on Vayne we saw in the match that we were watching in the end. They really farmed, went for a Quicksilver Sash to make sure that was in his build actually quite early, as we saw it was one of the first, or in his first match, which means like maybe your first spot, which means like second or third item build after he got some damage down. He had a Bloodthirster and a Phantom Dancer, so he didn't really go for the Infinity Edge, went a little bit cheaper, and it really paid off for him because the damage he was able to do right away really just went off. But him being able to farm, he really wasn't focused too much in fights, and as we saw, the Zillion ultis were being used a little off, and when Vayne should have been focused.
Yeah, Epic won that first game pretty handedly. Their lineup basically consisted of, let's make Vayne as difficult to kill as possible.
Yeah.
So they had Solomid Zillion, and for those who played League of Legends, that Zillion ultimate will revive a teammate. It's a pretty long cooldown, but you get into a fight and Zillion will make a teammate revive. Solo top they had Yorick, and that was Dyrus playing that one, and that worked really well. And he would again use his ultimate, and that would make a clone of that Vayne, and so they would have basically 2 Vaynes running through doing a bunch of damage. They had the jungle Nocturne doing a little bit of damage, and then they had the support, I believe was Janna, and so they just kind of had like big, beefy Vayne, Nocturne running a little bit of interference, and then just like if you killed Vayne, she'd revive, you killed her again, she'd revive again, and then you would actually kill her for real. And it was just like, and she was like 14-3 or something ridiculous, right? Went Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Quicksilver Sash. They're fighting against an enemy Galio. There's a couple of exhausts in there as well, so she's using that QSS to get out of that Galio taunt that we were talking about earlier. Because again, if your primary damage dealer is taunted hitting a tank, she's not killing everyone else. And if that's your only damage source, and you force that damage source to hit someone kind of useless, you've completely mitigated the damage output of that team.
Yeah.
And so that was really powerful. She got that Quicksilver Sash to break that, and then could come in and kill the people she wanted to. Ultimately, they managed to win with just like, the Vayne spam, basically. They positioned themselves really, really well. They won those fights pretty handedly. Yeah. They lost some champions, once in a while, but they kept winning those team fights, and that was really, really, really good for them.
Their goal, I think by the end of the game, they were up by 15,000 or some gold. So
they were
that
really
even, you'll see at the top of the spectator screen here, we'll have the builds down bottom, and we'll also have the top. You'll be able to see the kills, turret takedowns, and the gold. And that difference in gold plays a huge part in the game, and we'll have to check that out as it comes.
Yep.
And one thing we also haven't spoke about a little bit is every champion actually has a passive.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little.
Okay, so all the champions in the game, so every League of Legends champion has a passive, 3 regular abilities, and an ultimate. We mentioned the ultimates a little while ago. At level 6, you can learn the ultimate. You get up to level 18 in the game, so you kind of build power over time, but about a third of the way through, you'll gain your ultimate. But at level 1, everyone automatically gets their passive, and this could be things like, for Vayne's, for example, when she's running towards an enemy champion, she runs faster, so she's a good chaser. She'll make people die if she's going after them. Nocturne's passive really helps him jungle. Every few attacks, he'll do an AoE swipe, an area of effect damage deal, and that will heal him for basically, as he hits more targets, he'll heal more, so he gets to run around and kill jungle monsters. And you'll see the jungle, of course, throughout the game. Karthus is really interesting. Karthus, he's a long-range mage. He kind of has this gameplay between playing really long range and playing really close range, and he kind of goes back and forth and does that. But his passive, when he dies, he actually kind of like is semi-undead for like 6 seconds. And in that state, he actually can keep casting spells but can't move. So even if you do kill that Karthus, he's actually fine. He's like, well, I'm going to keep dealing damage and do awesome stuff. And so we are now into the load screen for CLG versus Goose, and we are good to go here. We see the lineups. Wall stop for Goose, playing Sona, has that Clairvoyance. Vayne going to be rocking out on Lemon God. We have Mandatory Cloud on to Nocturne. Kalimus going to be on Singed, and Atlanta on Karthus. They are the blue team for this game. They're going to be ready to go. They're actually running out of their base. Meanwhile, on Counterlogic Gaming, we have Ashe being played by Chowster. We have Hotshot GG on Galio, Saint Vicious on Udyr, Elements on Janna, and Big Fat LP going to be Kennen. And both teams now running across the map, getting ready to initiate the first fight of this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can do. Looks like it's going to be mirrored on both sides. No, they're kind of split in the middle here, and it looks like CLG is choosing what side they want to go on, maybe seeing a little bit of vision here if anybody kind of poke their head down mid. LP is looking to just do a pull for blue with Galio here, I believe. Looks like he's going to actually start. St. Vicious might even start and take down Wolves real quick.
Yeah, it's pretty smart to have your jungler kill the Wolves. So you can see right here, Udyr, he's a jungling champion. You can see we're kind of, let's actually do some overviews of the map real quick. So you can see here's the base. This is blue team's base. This is their nexus. This is the very important structure. You can see we can run down, top, up, and right. Down the middle of the map, you can see these turrets lining this path. You can see Lemon God there on Vayne. And you're going to run through the map up to the top right, and now you're towards the purple team base, and you see again their champions. There's Elements on Janna up through these 3 turrets, up to an inhibitor, and then past that are these 2 turrets defending the nexus. So there's the middle lane of the map, and you can see the game. If you look in the bottom right corner, the mini map, it will show you the top lane right here, the bottom lane down there, and of course the mid lane we were just showing. And then everything else on the map, right here we see these 3 champions. This is the jungle. There are monsters that constantly spawn that either team has the rights to kill, that give you golden experience, and in some cases really powerful buffs. And you're going to see champions go for these kills and kind of power themselves up this way. So you see there is Singed and Nocturne trying to kill out some of these wolves right here. Mandatory Cloud doing a lot of damage. You see Udyr doing the same thing on the same side, on basically the mirror side of the map as Udyr killing off these wolves. You see gaining 16 gold for each of those kills here. And now he's going to go for the Ancient Golem. This is a pretty big deal. You're going to see Elements as Janna. There's Zephyr being used, and he's going to pull that one away and kind of have it chase her down as this Udyr goes for the damage output. He's going to switch focuses here, and Udyr's going to keep going for the damage and try to pick off this Golem and use that to gain himself a buff. You see Nocturne actually following a very similar pattern here, taking this one down. 60 gold picked up, and now he's wearing the blue buff right here. Going to highlight that guy. Crest of the Ancient Golem, going to give him some mana regen, some cooldown reduction. And here are the lane matches. You see Atlanta in the mid lane against Hotshot GG on Galio. Top lane Singed versus Kennen. So you can see this start panning out as these players have now started to fight each other across the map.
go. We're going to see bottom. We do have Elements and Chaucer down there as AD carry and your support. Mirrored on the other side by Wall Stop and Lemon God. Let's see what they do. Both junglers don't look like anybody's going for a fast gank. They're just going right around in the basic jungle pattern to the Wraiths, and then they're going down possibly to get the red. But actually, Nocturne kind of making a move here. Mandatory may actually go for that quick gank or quick pressure. Looks like he may see that Hotshot GG's pushing out a little too far, and he likes that positioning. No, he decides to choose not to do that. Maybe thinks that he's going to waste a little bit too much time. He's going to go ahead, queue up. That makes him move quicker, back to the XP. You have to be very careful as a jungle because you can take those pivotal moments to know that, I'm going to sit here and wait for the kill, but you can't wait too long because you will lose a lot of experience.
Yeah, you saw that right there. The Nocturne went for the gank, and he's going for the Lizard Camp now, but Udyr had already cleared that one out. You can see he's actually one camp ahead right now, killing these golems, doing a lot of damage here. You see level 4 onto that Udyr, and he's actually heading towards the top of the map right now, and he's actually pinged that Singe, so St. Vicious wants to get that kill. We can see the pings here in Spectator mode. He wants to get that Singe right there. Kennen does have the ability to stun him, so if he plays really well, he can make these things happen. You see Udyr off in the wings. There's a nice shot there from Kennen. He's going to recall on this brush, but actually there he is, going in with the bear stance. There's a flash, stuns off on a Singe. Singe trying to run away, but Kennen's still chasing him down, getting him down to about 1/3 health, but he's going to survive right there, so Udyr will burn that flash, and Singe will be safe, but he has burned Summoner Ghost, so both teams have used one of their Summoner spells to get themselves out of this fight. You see Nocturne going to recall back right now. They've revealed him with a Clairvoyance, but he's going to be safe. And yeah, so a little bit of early aggression, no kill picked up just yet, but already they're going for it.
That's unfortunate. LP actually went for his second level in W for his third level instead of that E. That E probably would have helped. He did have 2 marks on. He would have been able to lightning rush right into Singe, stopped him well out of turret range and taking that one down. Easier said than done, though.
Oh, of course.
He's doing what he needs to do, and actually leveling his W will help him. He just got his E there at level 4 because being able to stay far away from Singed is what you want to do. That poison trail will take your health down. It's just unnecessary damage.
Yeah, pretty much. So being ranged against Singe is really powerful. Singe does not have any ranged tools on him. He has to walk up into range. He has abilities to help him do that, of course, but those all cost mana. You don't necessarily need to spend all that much mana early on. You want to be a little bit more defensive here, so.
Ooh, looks like we got it landed a flash out in mid. Great job by St. Vicious. And we do have a little bit of an invasion here. Great ward by Elements and the Wraith. You can see this is now jungle invasion. They are counter warding right into the jungle of the enemy team. They have also taken those Wraiths. That camp will not spawn again, and he is going to, I believe it's mandatory, is going to come around and get less XP. Running back through middle, St. Vicious heading up. Double buff against mandatory single red buff, and that red buff will actually help you do a little bit more damage as well as on your auto attacks slow the enemy opponent, so it actually helps you to chase as well as initiate in those fights as well.
Yep, absolutely. We can see at the top of the map we have a gold counter right here, 6,200 gold for CLG versus 5,700 right here. And there's nothing that really would have caused these teams to separate except for personal skill and last hitting these minions or clearing the jungle faster. So just in the laning phase and sort of early game sort of setups, CLG is outperforming just in purely mechanical skill. Getting a little bit ahead here. You can see Ashe constantly harassing against that Vayne. She's taking damage once in a while. Those health bars, you can see them ticking down. Again, that ping off on a mandatory cloud. Element's doing a great job of clairvoyancing, and you can see that eye right there. That's clairvoyance. It allows him to see enemy champions on very odd corners of the map if you guess their position right. And he's been able to spot him quite a few times. They actually know just where Nocturne is. It allows this Kennen player to play very aggressively because no one can gank him because the jungler's way down here. They see everyone else on the map, and he knows he can play very, very far up.
And he is playing very aggressive, just quickly lightning rushing through, Wing as fast as possible. Usually at this point you kind of want to farm back and forth, but as Freak said, he can push that lane. He has vision of the bottom, and he just feels confident about his play. Now knowing it's pushed, he's going to be able to go back, not waste too many waves, which is also something you have to think about is, am I going to be away from lane too long,
Yeah, sitting in lane will, every time a minion dies, it gives experience to nearby enemy champions, so as minions die, oh, here comes the taunt in from Galley off on Atlanta. The stun comes in from Udyr as well. Atlanta taking a lot of damage, but Mandatory Cloud coming by as well. They're going to keep him safe, just barely, down about a third health, but the assistance from his jungler did keep him alive right there. Atlanta going to go ahead and drop down some more of these minions, and he made it, but that was rather close.
That was a great attempt. They knew Karthus' flash was down from the attempt earlier, and St. Vicious, well played. The mentality of CLG really on top of things right now. We haven't seen too many aggressive pushes coming out of the hands of Goose right now, but we'll have to see what they can produce in the next few minutes here. They're kind of getting farmed up. You don't have to initiate if you know nothing, if you know it's not going to go right. So that's kind of where they're at. They're kind of letting CLG, they're feeling them out. How aggressive do they want to be? And I believe, you're going to see Goose come out pretty strong here mid to late game.
And another invasion from CLG. You see Udyr is actually going for that golem right away. They do respawn every 5 minutes, and CLG knew the timing on that. And looks
Nice.
like, yeah, they've actually had a defensive clairvoyance as well, so they're not really going to get dropped down. You see it's going to probably go, actually, to Udyr. He's going to smite that. Galio came in to support, but of course didn't do much for it. And now Singe could get jumped. Udyr's coming over. They could get some really good damage here. Kennen will land that stun. Here comes St. Vicious. He flashes in for the stun as well. They're going to jump down onto Singe, but oh, and a great fling. He could pick up first blood. One more shot to go. And he will go down. Nice job there by Singe. The ultimate comes out from Karthus as well. Nice job, Singe. Kennen got way too aggressive there. Got super, super greedy. And, you know, the first lesson of League of Legends is don't chase Singe. And you chased him into a turret, of all things. And that was silly.
This is true. It is not equal friendship. You do not want to chase Singe next to his turret. That's not what happens.
Don't hunt Singed.
You're just breathing in that poison trail the entire time. He almost got away from that. Had to expend flash and also went down. So that's another 3+ minutes that he's going to be waiting to get that back. And looks like he's going to be going to top lane. Udyr right back to the jungle. St. Vicious knows that was a little bit of a hit. But at any point, you know, first blood, that just means it was first blood. This game is still anybody's match right now. 8 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. That was that did go up top towards Calimist, or Calimist rather. And it's not the worst or the best person to get a kill. Singe kind of just always gets tanky anyways. You'd be more afraid if that was to one of their AD carries or the AP carry.
Yeah, but the one thing about Singed in lane is he's a really, really big bully. If he gets ahead, he can stay ahead because he can dive you, right? He's so durable. He can really jump on your turret and make you kind of regret making mistakes and kind of hating life. And so he's doing a great job here. Normally, Singe has to be afraid of ranged champions like Kennen, but you know, he's playing this exactly perfectly. You know, he baited the aggression, and he's now in such great shape. And you can see he's poisoning down these minions and doing so much damage with that. He's got that catalyst already picked up in his inventory, and he's getting rather far ahead. You can see down at the bottom of the screen, you can see minion kills, 41 on each of these guys. You can see Galli up to 72, that Karthus at 61. So, you know, gold games are kind of all over the place, but Singe's going to be really happy about this one.
See a little bit of the items. We do have Ashe grabbing that BF sword at 65 creep. So Vayne has 69. You'll see that purchase also on her side, and mostly going for the BF, or the Bloodthirster, or into the Infinity Edge, which is usually built on Ashe. But we'll have to see how they go. Maybe they just go quick early damage cheap on the Bloodthirster, and then for the quick Phantom Dancer to repeat that damage over and over, because these champions, especially Vayne, really scale off speed.
Yep, and you can see right here, we can also show the total gold gains right here, current versus total. You can see almost everyone on CLG at 2,600, although that Janna playing support at 13. Everyone, again, you know, similarly on the Goose lineup, everyone around 2,026. Again, the 1,200 on that support Sona. So they're playing, you know, the supports really aren't getting a lot of gold. They're letting their teammates farm all of that, but everyone's getting kind of rich throughout this game. So we're going to see how that plays out.
Looks like Udyr, St. Vicious is choosing to go back and forth. He's like, I know he's pushed, but we're definitely not going to be able to do too much damage to him. It looks like he is going to go for golems here and possibly go up and give Calimist a little say hello. And he will do that right there. No, yeah. He's actually going to come up, probably creep in the bush here. You're going to see him try to go top bush. Ashe arrow just missing. He's going to get stopped in the slowed down by Singe. Looks like Big Fat taking a lot of damage again from the poison. He needs to get a little bit of magic resist there. Not something you want to have to build on Kennen early. Probably going to go for just the HP and hope he can stay out of that from now on. But they are going to continue to fight here. Big Fat does not have to go back. He is kind of staying his bait. He wants to get in there. Calimist knows he's doing a lot of damage. Getting that Phoenix damage down back into the bear stance. Oh, St. Vicious doing a great job of trying to take down Calimist. Watching champion Udyr, St. Vicious is playing. If you don't know him, he turns into different forms. He really doesn't have an ultimate as every champion has. He's a little different play style. And you can see him change from a bear stance that allow him to run faster and stun his opponent to what he is in right now into a Phoenix stance, what allows him to do a little bit of an AoE attack with fire and continue to do damage with his auto attack. So a very versatile champion and doing a lot of damage, and great job to Calimist in that lane up top. Looks like we have two back actually right now for CLG. They're going to be heading back to their lanes. Not too much action really down bottom. They're just getting their farm on. It's almost like watching a top lane that really doesn't want to poke at each other back and forth. But.
Yeah, they had just aggressed with Nocturne while that gank was going on up top. They knew, okay, there's 2 up top for CLG. That means we have 4 towards the bottom. And they ran in with Nocturne. They dove onto Ashe and to Janna. They didn't get any kills there. Janna did manage to save Ashe quite successfully, but they dealt some damage there. And immediately they sent Karthus from mid. They walked him down towards this dragon, and they went as 4, and they picked down Dragon. Galli didn't even leave the lane. He just stayed up there and farmed, and they took Dragon down. And Dragon is actually an extremely important objective on the map. I mentioned him a little bit earlier, but in the pregame, when you kill the Dragon, your entire team gains 190 gold. And so you're going to see, you know, these gold tickers here. You see Sona, 1,600 total gold. Now actually tied up with that Janna, who was kind of being supported earlier. But they basically all got super rich. You can see the gold counts up here. For the first time, Goose actually winning in gold, while CLG is doing a better job last hitting minions. With that first blood picked up earlier, and now that dragon kill, they're actually winning in gold. So they're now, ahead in this game. And really, most teams would not have expected Goose to do very well here. CLG, a very, very heavy North American favorite. They've done extremely well in tournaments so far. They're an extremely strong performing team, but they've done a very great job so far in this first round. Goose, kind of an unknown team. And they're putting on a great show of teamwork.
Ooh, flash coming out of St. Vicious. They could get the kill here. He did pop his ultimate though. The ignite and the ulti is, or the ignite rather, hurting his ulti, but it is going to keep him alive. Udyr trying to come in with that. St. Vicious not really using the flash sparingly. He wants that every time he has a chance. And you know what? It's almost working for him. And one of these times it's really going to pay off. So another attempt at top lane. Again, it seems valiant, but they tried to go for it. And we will see Udyr on Udyr, hotshot rather, onto Karthus in middle with Galio. A little bit of a push there and not something you want to see. Atlanta has blue buff, so he's just going to have fun in mid lane right now, trying to lay waste all over a very low cooldown, about 0.6 seconds, and he's going to be able to just do that back and forth. If it just hits Galio, it's going to do double damage, but he throws on the shield and building that MR as he should. Oh, he has not built any MR yet.
This is good. Yeah, he's going to keep pushing on, trying to harass.
Missing. Great job by Hotshot, just avoiding the lay waste on that one.
Yeah, that was really good. The Wall of Pain comes in there. You saw that big purple wall. It will slow enemy champions who touch it. And
Shredding
so really,
magic resistance.
Yeah, it lowers the magic resist, makes them run slowly. And the thing is, Karthus is all about those skill shots. It's all about leading your opponent. When they can't move, it's really easy to land a shot. And he does a lot of damage. You can see he's doing it again. Hotshot, you see his health ticking down every single time. He puts on that bulwark right there, trying to keep himself alive. Again, that spam coming out, the Resolute Smite. But Atlanta doing a great job this lane.
Looks like Nocturne creeping on the bottom lane here as he pushes into the bush. This is something you'll see the junglers do. Oh, great hawk shot right there by Chowster just to reveal that. Looks like he will be pushed back into the jungle. And you'll see a third person in lane kind of hide in the bush. You're like, why aren't they doing anything? It's because they've creeped in. The minions only have a certain view, a window of vision. And if you can get into those bushes, the other team's going to feel a little more safe to push out, and you're going to be able to take them off guard right there. So you'll see a lot of the junglers trying to keep creep in the bush. That's going to block their vision, and they're going to be able to do a lot of damage if the other team pushes out, feeling that they have a safe spot to farm it. We're going to see Atlanta coming back down. Looks like there may have been a fight into River, but he just goes back right onto Hotshot, just harassing him, keeping him at his turret, and not really allowing him to farm. And something else that does, if you're pushing your opponent to their turret is going to feed off all of those minion kills. You're still going to get the experience, but you're losing out on a lot of potential gold.
Yeah, if you can't last hit against a turret, it's a really big, important skill to learn. It is possible to kill minions while the turret's fighting them, but you have to get extremely good timing here. You're going to see Hotshot going to toss out some spells, does a good job there, actually takes down most of them. But that's always a difficulty. It's not too bad of it's not really exactly a bad idea to push to a turret sometimes. It does leave you open to getting ganked. You have to be careful of that. But you see Udyr Nocturne have done that a couple times. But Atlanta has been alive every time that's happened. He's not died to these ganks, so he's feeling pretty confident.
You're really great wards right now coming out of the hands of Sona and Mandatory. You can just see all the way over towards the Wraith side. They just had one on their own Wraiths as well. So that it's just like a counter support. You can almost push the lane without having the fear of the gank coming in.
Yeah, it's very true.
Oh, looks like St. Vicious has an Oracles, and he looks hungry for middle here. Galio, hotshot GG, St. Vicious going in. He does have flash up, and he uses it right away, knowing St. Vicious has been popping his flash all day just to land that bear stand stun.
Yep, if they had landed it. Oh, Asher! Ooh. Good vision from Atlanta, saw that arrow. If you see one of those hit, by the way, you're going to be stunned for a very, very long time. That would have definitely been his death if they had landed that shot.
A lot of pokes down towards that. Maybe there's a ward there, St. Vicious, we need you to walk over here. They have been pinging that tri-bush down bottom for quite some time, but I just believe it's because of the ward. But that also stops Mandatory Cloud from going in for a gank there, because all you're going to see CLG do is start to push back in their lane, play a little bit more careful. And here we go, Freak. Again, he's trying to get into the bush, but bam, there's a ward right there that just spotted him.
Yep, so they're not able to play too aggressively just yet. We see knocked out towards the front. Yep, Ash with the hawk shot, but they might go for it anyway. Gonna take a dust ring into the face. Will be alive. Vayne gonna keep getting sustained by Sona. And look at the last hits actually. Let's look at the gold income. Ash at, let's see, 4,500 gold. Vayne at 4,800. So yeah, Vayne is actually ahead of Ash in minions, getting babysat by that Sona very, very well. And Vayne scales extremely powerfully into late game. She scales much harder than Ash does. Her damage output is much higher. Oh, but here comes Udyr off to the side. Calumet's going to get caught again. Has that ultimate on, trying to get away. Big Fed LP low on energy. And he's actually going to go back onto Udyr. He's going to fling him into the poison cloud.
And that's Singe right there.
Yeah.
Absolute trolling. He is not worried about this fight. He knows he can take a lot of damage. His mana and HP are on the increase right now because of his ulti. So you can kind of run around and just deceive. We got a huge fight that could have possibly happened here down bottom. I believe the dragon was just taken as well. During that fight up top, dragon is now gone, and I do believe that went to...
That's probably Goose.
Goose.
Yeah, they had control there. They kind of were in the position for it.
Yep.
They did not get stopped. It was a great job. And again, because they see Udyr's up top, he's trying to do that harassment. He's like, well, great, it's a 4v3, let's take it. And the thing is, you look at Kennen's summoners, he's got Ignite and Flash, so there's no summoner teleport at all on the Counter Logic Gaming team, so they can't position themselves across the map so quickly. So let's talk about some of the synergies they've got here. So one thing that CLG does, they have Galio right here, and Galio's ultimate again, that taunt is extremely powerful. They've got Kennen as well, that slicing Maelstroms. They have big AoE, just localized area damage output spells. So Kennen and Galio can get together and destroy an enemy team really, really quickly, and that's extremely powerful. One thing that Goose does, though, is this Nocturne. His ultimate will send you about halfway across the map at high speeds and gank a single champion. And actually, there's a fight right here on a Singe. Stop that for a little while, because Singe now trying to run away from Galio and everyone else. And here comes the fight. There's the Nocturne ult. Will they go into anyone? They've got to be a little bit afraid. Galio's nearby. Calumet's getting extremely low. That poison trails there. And there comes the ultimate in from Hotshot GG.
Wow.
Vayne has killed Ash at the bottom of the map. They're still fighting this one. Karthus in the middle doing tons of damage. We see that Udyr is still trying to chase down Sona. Sona will flash away. Now on to Elements. This is Janna taking a lot of damage, but he's low on mana. Atlanta has to run away, and it's now 2-1. Elements still chasing in there. The Tornado's off. Can he get the kill? Running away with no health. Can he ult in time? He
there
will
it
ult.
is.
Will it be enough, though? He shields, and oh my gosh!
Janna.
18 health. He did kill Kennen, though. They did trade.
He did get Kennen. He did get Kennen.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a really scary fight. I thought Big Fat LP went way early with Maelstrom on that one. He only used it for Singed, and then they all just came out of the bush like, what's up, dude? Let's make this fight happen. And you know what? CLG came out huge on that one, having less numbers in the beginning. And Janna just getting away by the skin of her teeth on that one. She's really loving that shield skill. Yeah, that's a great push right there. So you saw Vayne and Nocturne push through the bottom lane. Did kill that bottom turret. Now Galio trying to shove mid, but here comes Wall Stop. Gonna try to stop him a little bit. Won't be able to do that great. Sona not exactly a high damage champion. You see Galio still just trucking away on that turret. Looks like he wants to make it one turret for one here. But at the same time, Singe did push top. Yep. This is one of the great things about Singe, is Singe cannot be 1v1'd, even 1v2'd. He's just tanky, and the thing is, he fights best by running away. The way Singe works, again, with that poison trail, if you chase Singe and you can't quite kill him, you'll start losing farther and farther and farther because you just keep taking damage. But that sounds so easy, doesn't it? But you always want to chase him. You always want to, because he's like, because he'll be low and like you really want to take that down. You just won't quite be able to. He gains a lot of movement speed over time, and you just always want to get him, but you won't quite be able to. And that allows him to push, because he requires that 2 to 3 champions chase him, and when 3 people chase him, you've got a 4v2 somewhere else. Yep. And so even if he dies, he can make other things happen for his team. Oh, and there's that Astro. Atlanta has been stunned, and here comes everyone else. He will flash, but it's going to be dangerous. Wall of Pain comes out. There is Vayne. Can they do enough damage? It's going to be scary. St. Vige is taking a lot of damage. Galio's nearby, but Galio's ultimate, actually, it just now cooled down. It was almost up in time for that kill on Vayne. Oh, that would have been really nice to catch her on the outside there. Probably it could have had Janna even go to the other side and push her right back into the turret. For sure. That would have been a really nice move by her. It's something you'll see possibly come out of the hands of Elements later, is Janna will quickly flash just to use her ultimate, and that can push the entire team or the opponent team into the turret, and it's an absolutely awesome place to have the entire team, because with the CC of Kennen, with the CC of Galio, that just makes for an awesome fight for CLG. It looks like they're going to go ahead and give this one to Galio. He can continue to shield his team up, continue to give his team assistance with speed, and see if they can use that to their advantage. Up top, again, Calumet just not leaving top lane alone, exactly what Singe should do. You always want to be split pushing, and that gives CLG something to think about the rest of the entire game. The rest of the entire game? The rest of the entire game. Yes. No, I understand. It's just a little bit of hyperbole there. Indeed. You could have the entire game or the rest of the game, but you want both. They're really just the entire rest of the game. It's going to be there. It is. So yeah, Galio wearing blue, going to be pretty happy right here. He's got that Glacial Shroud, so a lot of bonus mana, a lot of cooldown reduction. Not a ton of ability power stacked on him right now, but he's certainly going to be nice and tanky. They do want to get that going on there. A lot of physical damage from that team, so they do want to give him some armor. He is their primary tank, of course. But you saw the early game that Singe versus Kennen was pretty close. But you can see down here, Singe 129 minions and Kennen at 131. So both of them are farming quite successfully, and Galio actually at 188, the most farmed in the game pretty much. Go back to the gold ticks, you can see 6,000 pretty much everyone. 6,000 over here. They're all really, really close by. There's no singular, super far ahead champion right now. Right. It's going to see what they do. I mean, Big Fat LP, I feel like you know, he would have went for some HP first, that MR, but he actually went for Will, and it just misses everyone. Wow, that Ash Arrow almost coming down and destroying at least 2 people in mid. If you are around the AoE of the Ash Arrow, it's still going to slow you, so they could have a good initiation on a few people that fight. But as I was saying about Big Fat LP is, you know, went for the quick Will of the Ancients, was like, I'm going to get poisoned, but I'll steal my health back a little bit. So he's kind of compromised in his build, but still has great items. Needlessly Large Rod, Sword Boots to penetrate, and he has the Will of the Ancients, which also assists the rest of his team.
Yeah, so Hotshot going fighting around with Singe. That Bulwark doing a great job. What that shield does, by the way, it gives you a lot of bonus armor and magic resist, and then when you take damage, you actually get healed a little bit. So you see that those green numbers coming out, and of course, when Poison Trail deals damage over time, it ticks multiple times. That heals actually completely overpowers the Poison Trail damage output. So he actually wants to fight Singe because he'll heal by doing so. Unless Singe gets a lot of magic penetration or some extra ability power, he'll actually heal by sitting in Poison Trail. It's a good counter.
So now that we're about 23 minutes into the game, we do see that as a turret has been taken down on each side, actually 2 for CLG at this point, and just 1, actually 2 in the middle, one in mid, 1 in bottom, actually for Goose as well. They're starting to pack up a little bit more. You'll see the team start to now initiate those fights we were talking about, and not just the one-on-ones that you're going to be brought to, or the two-on-ones from the jungler. Where you can see going for Dragon here. It looks like they do have it warded. They're going to pull it out a little bit. That is also a strategy to keep it away from the other jungler's smite, and ability to do a great amount of damage to a unit. It looks like Nocturne ulti coming out to clear the vision. Galar, Hotshot coming around from the backside, and they're going to be able to pinch the team here. A great ulti coming out of the hands of Kennen. A huge amount of damage on Lemon God, and he is going to go down. The DPS is on the ground, and they will just be able to push through this lane right here. Mandatory is trying to just get the minions down so they can't push as fast. Oh, they catch Karthus in the Galio ulti. He does not have flash up, and he will go down. Zombie Karthus casting as many spells as he can, but everybody is out of range, and no worries there. A really great initiation there. They got Dragon for themselves, and a few team kills by Hotshot coming around the backside. They have really good vision there by Wraiths, and he knew that the team was out of position for a good pinch. Yeah,
Udyr did a great job there diving onto Vayne, was kind of the main disruption there. Stopped her from getting away entirely, and you know, they just did not have the damage output anywhere. You know, even though it was roughly a 4v4, they just could not really rally themselves and get into a position they wanted. They needed that Singe to be a meat wall. There's no real tank for Goose without Singe. Nocturne is just not that beefy right now. You're gonna follow Nocturne around. He just is not a, you know, he's not a meat wall yet. He's not really built that tanky so far. So without Singe to disrupt, you know, they just got jumped on. Vayne couldn't get away. Vayne got caught, and then that flash ult from Galio managed to catch Karthus at the end there, and they kind of just destroyed them. And now CLG, you see, invading the jungle, have picked up the golem. They see Singe right there, but Singe will probably get away. Again, he's tanky. You don't want to chase him around. But this is really, really good for CLG.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. It seems like they have free reign over everything right now. They're kind of, you know, Goose wants to push into whatever they're doing, but CLG kind of has a lot more poke than they do. You're able to throw shurikens with Kennen, Galio, or a Hotshot GG with his poke as well. Udyr's right there to CC somebody if you want to initiate on those pokes. So it's really a back and forth game right now for Goose. Do they want to fight it, or do they not want to fight it? Because, you know, they're going to need Singe for this next one, according to the last fight.
Yeah, they're really going to need him. You know, it's already too late. Hotshot's ultimate is back by now, so, you know, they're not going to, like, rush them in and get anything done. Hotshot did have teleport, actually. I mentioned a while ago they didn't have anyone with TP, but Hotshot did have that before, but he wasn't the one solo top for a while. Now he is, so basically their gameplay is going to be have Hotshot solo top, have him keep pushing, have him keep distracting, and then whenever a team fight starts, he can TP away into the battle. Singe can do the same. His teleport is also up, so they're kind of going to play this sort of split push gameplay and see what they can do. They have pushed through, got that mid turret right there, so that's going to help them out a little bit. 3 turrets apiece. It's going to be a big win there for Goose. They want to keep pushing through. Hotshot is still far. They have a couple more seconds before Hotshot actually gets into the fight, so if they can get anything done, they'll want to try to do it now. Ashore comes out. That'll hit Singe in the face, but he's tanky. It's not going to be a huge deal. He has a little bit of health there, but here's Hotshot in the back. He could ult and catch all of them. He's going to jump in there, and there it is. Picks up 2 to 3. Can they get enough damage out? But there's Nocturne in the middle. Element's taking a lot of damage. Big Fat LP might drop down, but so much damage dealt. Wallstop actually dropping down. He's going to fall, and now the ult comes in from Karthus. Save Vigil could fall. He's getting extremely low. He will drop down. There's actually a pretty good fight on both sides. They've only lost 2. They've killed 2 as well. They're staying okay, and they're going to jump onto this turret a little bit.
Shielded off by Janna a little bit. That's going to take a few shots from Vayne here. Going to be able to put a lot of damage on that turret. Looks like, check her build. Yeah, there it is, the fast Bloodthirster to Phantom Dancer. And she's going to actually go straight for those Merc Treads, as we talked about before. Galio's ulti, it's worth getting them for. So not even worrying about faster speed on the Zerkreeds. She's going to go for straight, stay alive, stop that CC. And it's called actually Tenacity. And that's going to keep her from being CC'd for too long of any type.
It was a great fight for Goose. They had just lost the last one. They had gotten some of the buffs stolen. You know, good Galio ult went down, but they did a wonderful job of coming back onto that one. The Nocturne ult did great. They killed LP. They killed, I believe it was Udyr as well. So they managed to kill Kennen and Udyr. They lost Sona plus Karthus, the two squishiest on the team, the least likely to survive, basically.
Yep.
So, you know, they lost expected deaths, and they got 2 kills that were actually really, really powerful. Savicious had been wearing an Oracle's Elixir before, so that's an extremely valuable kill. You have to rebuy that, but he's getting so incredibly durable right now. Randuin's Omen, Wit's End coming in. Might be looking for Trinity Force next. He's going to be a really disruptive champion there.
So we've got some pings going on here. I was going to say flashes, but nobody flashed. We got some pings going on in mid. They did ping where Karthus was, and I don't see that they have anything there. Maybe that was just hawkshot this. You know, Karthus came out of mid. That's where he was going. So they do have a ward. CLG has a ward towards Baron. They have vision on that. That's pretty much their only ward right now other than the tri-bush down bottom. So here we go, pushing in actually towards red. Vayne going for red, and they're going to give her a little bit of trouble. Lemon God forced to push away on that one. It looks like I believe they may be able to steal that from her.
Here we go. We see Karthus with the wall of pain that's going to land, but Galio's nearby. They've got to be careful. He's going to jump in. There's the ult. So much damage about to be done right here. Whoops, sorry about that one, guys. And there we go. The Ashe ult comes off as well. Mandatory Cloud going to drop down. This could be a complete cleanup right here. Karthus not doing enough damage. Lemon God being caught. They could try to kill St. Vicious. He's stunned him against the wall. They could get the kill. He flashes back in. Trying to get the damage. Will not be able to do so. And they're in great shape right now. They've cleaned up almost everyone. They've not lost the champion. Singe still around there, trying to run away. But now Chowster chasing down on the wall stop. Wall stop could very easily fall right here. That will be a kill. Nice job here. Calimus now alone. 1 versus 5 has not killed anyone. Flings hotshot, but he's the tank. You don't want to really push him into a turret because it won't matter too much. They're still chasing him down. Look at that. Galio just not taking damage. That will be a kill. Ace picked up. Great job by CLG. 5 kills, no deaths. Wonderful job there.
Oh, very nice job there. Hotshot and both Chowster just absolutely knowing in their minds that we're going to chase this. You're taking the damage. And that was very good by Chowster to not stop one bit as well, knowing that Hotshot was tanking the turret. He had nothing to worry about in that entire instance. Great job by both of them on the chase. And St. Vicious for really sticking with the initiation on that fight, flashing back in after having a mere 200 HP and staying alive.
Yeah, that was a wonderful job. Just completely just disrupted against that Vayne.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, Vayne is the big damage dealer. You have to disrupt Vayne or you're going to lose the team fight. And they did a wonderful job of doing that.
Looks like Chowster just pushing up top lane a little bit. That's going to be a huge minion wave, and that turret needs to go down quite soon. It's about 60% right now, so they should be able to get it quick. Karthus looking to say, no, this turret's not going to take any damage, and it looks like some delicious farm. So he's going to go ahead and do that. Every last hit you got on a minion, as we've said, gives you a little bit of gold, as well as the experience always from the minion dying in your lane if you are near it. So they're going to be able to do that. He's getting a lot of gold for himself right there. His build already quite big. He does have the Void Staff, so he's going to be able to penetrate any of the Banshee's Veils or just single Negatron Cloaks that are being built by the other team right now. Yep. We do see the Frozen Heart on Galio. That's really going to assist with Vayne and Nocturne in a fight that's going to slow down their auto attacks and allow the fight to really go in favor of CLG.
Yeah, one good thing here is that Void Staff is a big jump in power. That giant oh, he got it stolen! Nice job by Hotshot. Stole the Golem buff. Wonderful job there. That's pretty sexy right there. So Karthus now without Golem. Gonna be a little bit sad about that one. But basically, the build here, Void Staff is a big jump in power. That magic resist penetration is really, really huge. Also, Vayne now has finished Quicksilver Sash, so their 2 main damage dealers have completed their core builds, and you'll see that the Singe is not behind at all. So they have their main disruptor is doing fine. Their 2 big damage dealers are doing fine. Nocturne is behind Udyr, but that's not a big problem because Nocturne can still jump onto Ashe, and we're gonna see if that's gonna play out well for them. Ashe probably going for a looks like a Last Whisper next. That'll be a pretty big deal there, but Ashe is going to be difficult to deal with, but Vayne is definitely going to do quite nicely. Karthus as well, so they have a good chance at this fight. They're not out of the game yet at all.
No, not at all. We'll have to see what they can do. It really needs to go in their favor. They need to dodge that, as you said, the Galio ult. He has a Quicksilver Sash. Singed is going to be that meat shield in the front. They really have to play that. They cannot let St. Vicious and I should say Big Fat LP get into the fight, even flash into the fight, and that's really what they've been stopped by, is that there is no way to get away from somebody flashing onto you.
Pretty
that
much,
initiation is pretty tough.
Their initiation is super, super strong, and if they screw up, Elements can always ult, on that Janna, use that Monsoon, get him out of the way. So they have really, really good jump in there, crush your face. If you're disorganized at all, you'll probably die, and CLG's done a great job of that so far.
So we could have a forced Baron here.
Yep, they're clearing wards out right now. Takes that one down. Good job by Elements.
Wow, great job. Yeah, Elements just going around all the natural ward spots, all the counter ward spots, clearing them up. Very good job. You can see any character with that glowing pink eye over their head, that's an Oracle's, and it needs to be purchased, and then you consume it, and you can see any wards or invisible units around that area that it can see, which is pretty much just around you.
They wanted to go in. Udyr was far, but they managed to not initiate quite well. Looks like Kelly's trying to run away. He's going to get caught a little bit, but he should be safe. Oh, no, here comes Udyr. The ult pops. Kennon's around there. They're going to jump into this fight. Atlanta jumping in there. There's the ult in from Galio. Ashlar comes up. Atlanta most definitely going to die, but he flashes in just in time. Does some damage. The ult's going to go off as well. Can they do enough damage? You see they're chasing down into Ash. Vayne doing a ton of damage. They are not quite picking up that kill. Lemon still not getting the kill just yet. Can he kill Chester? Running away from Hotshot now. Big Fat LP off to the side. Can he get the kill? He's going to get jumped on. Oh, he almost picks it up, but Big Fat LP will survive that. And you can see Purple Team picking up all the kills right here. St. Vincent's now being disruptive. Calimist trying to run away. They've cleaned up 4 kills, and Sin's the only one alive. Good knock up there by Elements. They will not pick this one up.
Wow.
Great job, CLG. Everyone just surviving, just barely.
That is a lot of low HP right there.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to take this one pretty strong. They do have a minion wave right behind them, and with the speed that they have on the attacks right now, they could take down easily this inhibitor. Yeah, Hotshot's not even going to worry about it. He says, I got the tank on the turret. He's really not even going to take that much damage. Kennen going through. Big Fat's trying to clear that wave. Just the more damage they can get done right now in seconds is what they're looking for. 0.5 seconds to the T, and that's what they did. They're going to back out. That lane will now start to spawn super minions, which actually really starts to push any of the regular minions or siege minions that the blue team, that's Goose, is going to be spawning down just that lane. So you see a lot of focus now coming from CLG to that lane, and also kind of toying with Baron and trying to pull Goose into a fight.
They're going for it too.
Yep.
They're not doing a very good job of hiding the fact they're going for Baron. I mean, they're running through wards anyway, but so you see CLG immediately recalled. They healed up. They're running towards Baron. Atlanta's going to sort of lead his team over there. They have to know that the other team knows. They know they run through wards. They know they have no oracles, and they're going to go for it, but CLG is very close by. And you're going to watch this fight's not going to go well for CLG. Astro's going to come in, smack Calimist in the face. They want to try to get out of the range if they can, and there is the Galli ult already up again. Atlanta not in great shape. He will drop down. Does not have, actually does have ult. It's going to cast that right now. Mandatory Cloud dropping down to Udyr. A lot of damage being done on both sides, but looks like they're not cleaning up at all. Everyone is still alive for CLG. Lemon God not in great shape. Big Fat LP comes in with the ultimate. Wallstop will probably go down. A great dance cast out by Sona. Is going to stay alive, but there comes Janna chasing down, and she's going to see her on the map. They're going to try to chase that one.
Support on support. Oh, the Zephyr gets off. Can Elements grab wall stop through the wall? Hurricane, can he get him to go down? The Shuriken lands trying to get into the bush so she can just dodge any attack. And a blind Shuriken coming out of the hands of Big Fat to take him down. Good chase by Elements and an awesome Hurricane through the wall there to pop up wall stop. That was a very good fight. Big Fat didn't even use his ulti till the end, really. They just knew they had enough damage, allowing all the cooldowns to be wasted before he went in and got targeted.
Yep, so Vayne and Sin is the only 2 alive. CLG knows that. They don't want to risk the game. They're ahead by about 10,000 gold. They're significantly ahead in this game right now. They have a very good chance of winning. There's always a chance of getting a comeback here. They do have a lot of damage out, but they're getting pretty tanky. This Galio doing a great job as well. Tanking that turret, doesn't really care. Drops another turret down. 6 turret kills to 4. So they're starting to control this map much more quickly. And it's looking good for CLG. It's not quite over. There's always a chance of comebacks. I've seen games worse than this, you know, at the same skill level, just get turned around this way.
It really is. It's just the mistake on the initiation, the cooldowns being used in the wrong spot, and a fight can absolutely go in a different way. It seemed that CLG has just had the upper hand, even with less players in a fight, as we just saw the fight at Baron. But, you know, you have Baron fighting you. It's not really one you want to initiate. They got hit with an arrow right there. And again, Calimist getting hit with an arrow just for the wards. It's a very low cooldown for Ashe, so Chaucer really not too worried about that. It's going to be up right soon. And really the farming just to happen, they want to make sure all the lanes are pushed. And this is CLG really mounting to their next attack. They want to get the lanes pushed. They're going to, again, go to force at Baron, and they can pretty much do whatever they want right now.
Yep, and there's Udyr going in for it. They do know they have ward control now. Elements was working the oracles, has been sweeping out wards. You can see blue team has no vision of anything even remotely close to Baron. Meanwhile, they can see almost all the inlets here. CLG can kind of see them coming in. And you see this dragon.
This is something you can actually always notice when CLG goes to do Baron, is Hotshot is off in another lane. Usually fighting the entire other team.
Yep, he's doing a good job against Atlanta, doing a lot of damage here. Going to pull back now. Has oracles as well, so he's been ward sweeping. But they're coming down for him. I mean, they could theoretically jump Hotshot and kill him. Be worth it to get that kill and try to fight 5v4.
Great split push here. They're going to be able to drop this turret. Nocturne is up top, and you can see the shift in the mini-map base of everybody just like, Hotshot's here, but their entire team is over here. They have a really good hold on Goose's base and all right now. They don't even have to worry about warding, but they still are warding the jungle because, like Freak said, anything can happen. It's really still anybody's game, but it is looking quite grim right now for Goose in Game 1.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And this, of course, is going to be a best of 3 throughout the entire tournament. So this is just Game 1. We will have a 1 to 2 more games. If Goose can come back, it'll go to a Game 3. Or if CLG can shut them out, that's going to be good for CLG. They want to get a good start on the day and a good start on the tournament. There's an 8-team single elimination, so if you drop out here, if you lose, you're gone for the tourney, and if you win, you're guaranteed top 4.
Ash just putting out about 800 damage a shot on those crits, and that's pretty much everyone she's thrown out of her bow right now, so that's not something you want to get hit by. The ward strat looking to take down some turrets with wards, but Hotshot failing. And we're going to have to see if he can get in here. He's just taking damage, and what he's really doing right there, as I said, is you want to get in there and take cooldowns from the team. This allows his team to go in without being too focused, and there it is. The cooldowns are wasted. The arrow comes out. Atlanta being a quick focus. He goes down. Janna able to take him down. Very nice job there. It looks like Hotshot getting out of the fight alive. The Karthus ulti goes off in zombie form. A very nice kill there on Nocturne. A quick lightning surge from Kennen. Big Fat LP coming up with one. And really, they're just kind of toying with the inhibitors. They're able to get this one, make sure they have the top one. They may even go for the third. And it looks like, yeah, St. Vicious is going to go ahead and take that right there. May even get flung away. Hey, thanks. Kelly missed. That's exactly what he needed to have done. And they're just going to turn around without any worry about the turret and go ahead and take this. A very good game by CLG. You know, they took that first hit in the beginning on first blood on Kennen, but like we said, it's really anybody's game throughout the entire game. But CLG not allowing Goose to really grab an inch. Goose was able to get first dragon, helped him out a little bit, but as we look at the gold now, 46,800 gold for Goose, 62,800 for CLG, and that's not something you can itemize against at this point.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult. They're in the base. They've got all 3 inhibitors. CLG almost certainly going to mop this game up. They've got 1 turret down on the Nexus, the second one going down right now. About 39 minutes into the game, CLG now on to the Nexus, about to take the first game. So it just says GG, and that is going to be game CLG taking Game 1 against Goose. And we will have the other games coming up very soon. We'll see if Goose can learn any of their lessons. They did win early on. They did a great job early in the game. They took down a lot of kills. They got the first blood by Big Fat LP being too aggressive. They did take the first 2 dragons. They got the first couple of turrets as well. They had kept a very strong early game advantage. Vayne was out CSing Ashe. They had all these big advantages they had built for themselves throughout the game. It just, they couldn't quite keep it up. Their team fights weren't as good.
I really thought it was going to be a more mid to late game for that entire team because Vayne gets farmed. You know, Karthus can just do a ton of damage. You know, sometimes it's zombie Karthus. They know they're going to die. It's not really that much. They're not worth much anymore. So that's what they do. But the ability of Galio and Kennen and Udyr to just stop people from moving. Singed needs to run. Singed couldn't run. You know, you can't be Singed if you can't run. Exactly, you said you want people to chase you, and it was just a very good job by the entire team to not even allow them to get their skills off in a fight.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what it was you know, giant team fights sort of in the mid to late game when CLG finally got their first dragon. It was extremely important for them because they finally, you know, they finally took a map objective, and when they took that, Goose had tried to stop them, but they stopped them too late. It was either bad coordination or a bad call or something or some kind of miscommunication, but basically they limped into a fight after it was over, and they got caught. And they got caught and they lost like 4 champions. And at that point, CLG was like, well, we just got the dragon, so we got equal in gold, then we won a team fight. So we have map control for more turrets. You know, we just, you know, took down any killing sprees you might have had. We just got a bunch of gold off your champions. You know, we now have hold over the game. And before that, they were you know, coming in trying to sneak into things. You know, they would trade kills once in a while.
Yeah, a few of those fights were just 2 twos, 3 threes.
They had 2 twos, but, you know, again, Goose will outscale them. They have a better scaling team. Karthus ridiculous damage output. Vayne just highest DPS range carry in the game, realistically, but they couldn't do enough because they eventually got caught. And while they would outscale them, once CLG gets ahead in gold, you know, I'll scale, you know, 1.1 times as well as you scale. But if your gold is more than 1.1 times what my gold is, that's kind of irrelevant at that point. And now CLG, you know, with a better crowd control team, with a more sort of secure type team, they're not just, oh, we're not about scaling, we're about controlling. And if you're ahead in scaling and you control, it's kind of over. Yeah,
20,000 gold is the 4,000 item for pretty much everybody on the team.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
That's a big item.
Okay. So we are going to kick it over to a commercial as we get the players ready for the next game. We're going to get you guys commercial and a promo break, and we'll be right back, so stay tuned.